Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions Radio Show with Ron Couming well, all right, I'll wait for the music. It seems to be louder than me. Usually the music fades as I start to talk, all right? So we'll have to work on that, but I'm calling in remotely. So this is Ron Couming you're listening to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions Radio Show with Ron Couming of RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs, much like you, attract, convert, and retain their ideal customers and clients to achieve even greater success. The purpose of this show, we basically break it up into two different formats. I'll bring on subject matter experts, and they are going to come on and talk about how they achieve their success. And in doing that, we're hoping that you will learn from their trials and tribulations and navigate better through any of yours, because being an entrepreneur is not always the easiest thing, as well as a business owner, right? And usually it's one and the same. And the second format is if we don't have a guest or we only have one guest that day, I will just give out some tips. And so today we both have a guest on the first episode, and on the second episode, I'm going to be talking to you about retargeting ads, and then I'm going to give you some 2 or 3 bonus tips, time allowed, on how to use retargeting ads to, serve more people and then ultimately make more money. But first, I'm very excited to talk to you about that we have Albert Corey with us, and he is known as the TAXMAN. He is a multiple business owner for over 3 decades. He went from cleaning toilets to making over 7 figures in his business. Who would like to grow their business to over 7 figures? He worked and trained with Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, Russel Brunson, just to name a few. He loves working with startups and solopreneurs, 1 to 5 person offices, and he is the author of a well-known book called The Art of Perception, and that's his second book. He also has a program, How to Make You Stand Out in a Noisy World. His mission is for 1,000 business owners to band together to help change the world economically and by giving back. Albert, how are you today?
Good. Down in Miami. How you doing, Mr. Ronald?
Excellent. And I don't know if it's just me, but if you could just speak up a little bit, because I want the listeners now to hear you, but also on the replay when we post it up. So you're calling in from Miami?
Better now? Yes,
much
sir.
better.
I'm in Miami, Florida for 50 years.
Nice, 50 years. Wow, good for you, man. And I, just because you're the tax man, down there in Florida, there's no state tax, right?
That's right, Dave. That's why when I travel the country, I always tell people, especially if you're in California, to try to open a business in the 6 states that don't have state income tax, and Florida is one of them, so you can start to save money, because these states are really whacking you. So why you want to give extra money to Caesar? That's my point. You work hard for your money.
I love it. And the biggest expense to a business owner, whether they realize it or not, they might think it's their employees or health care or all that, but their biggest expense, at least potentially up front before they get the write-offs, is their taxes. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Caesar, whether it's the IRS or Department of Revenues, the state Department of Revenues, most of them are cleaning your house faster than even the IRS, and people don't even realize
it. Scary. But part of being a business owner, I know for myself, is I couldn't just rely on other people to, help guide me through, tax things. I had to actually learn. I had to go out there and find someone like you and learn from them, because it is at the end of the day, it's my business. I make the money, and it's my responsibility to know the tax code and know what's available to me and what I'm responsible for. Am I correct?
Yes. I think the biggest problem in the world today, and I see this all the time when I go to events and I talk to people, it's like people are doing their own QuickBooks. People try to do their own tax return, to try to save a couple of bucks, especially if you are have a little business. And what I laugh at is, if you have a heart attack, I always give this example, Mr. Rod. If you give a heart attack, right, Are you going to go and get jumper cables and connect them to your car and try to charge yourself up and go ba-doom, ba-doom? Or are you going to call 911 and go to a cardiologist? Well, it's the same concepts, guys. You know, get a professional to do it, especially, you know, I mean, chances are, you know, you're spending way too much time doing your bookkeeping and try to do your tax returns. You know, that same time you take to do your stuff, you could have probably paid somebody and you could have made money in that time.
I love it. And that's one of the main things I do. I also tell my clients something similar about learn it, do it, and delegate it. You want to learn it enough that you know that
What's
people aren't taking advantage of you, but you also, you've got to delegate it, because if you're a life coach or something, or a plumber, and you know, your average client to you is $5,000 for a year, let's say, and you're spending 10 hours doing something else that you're not good at, whatever you're working on will be subpar compared to that expert. But let's talk about the loss of opportunity. You know, that 10 hours, you might have been able to work and close 4 clients, and at $5,000 each, that's $20,000 for something you could have paid somebody $300 or $400 for.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir, my brother.
Yep, I love it. Well, I mean, I'm preaching to the choir because I know you. We run in the same circles. I've met you several times. I've listened to you speak from the stage as I speak on the stage on internet marketing and business solutions. So I already know you. Can you just tell us a little bit more about who you are and how you help people so the listeners can just learn a little more about you?
Okay, very quickly. What I do is I'm in Miami, but we have clients all over the country. Basically, we have 2 businesses we run parallel, where I have clients where we're helping on their tax stuff to make sure they save money. We got clients in 47 states now that send their information through our email system. And now the biggest thing while I'm out there is I think it's such a crime that small businesses aren't growing, because we work and live in such a noisy world that they don't know how to stand out in the crowd. I mean, I see this every day, people coming in my office, people closing their businesses because they don't know how to stand out in a noisy world. And that's what the perception system does. We're showing clients how to stand out in a noisy world so that you are now competing head to head with the big boys. You know, that's the biggest thing. You have to make the world, the perception system says, you have to find a way so that when you get clients, they think you're just like the big boys. So you're going to stand out.
And again, it's funny because, you know, earlier you said you're preaching to the choir. For me, you know, that's preaching it to the choir, because one of my main things I tell my clients is awareness equals opportunity. If people can't find you, if they can't find you, they can't even consider you, never mind hire you. And then once they find you, one of the ways you can break through that noise is to have a solid USP, a unique selling proposition, something that sets you apart from who else they might be considering. And I love it, man. That's excellent advice.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I start. I mean, you know, a couple of things I tell people from the stage lately. Sorry here. What I'm telling people from the stage is, you know, I started out in 1985, with 0 clients. 0 after I quit H&R Block. With no clients. In 1985, we did 50 returns. Right? I had to learn real quick how to stand out. Remember, this was 85. There was no internet. I didn't know what a mentor was, and I didn't realize maybe go to the library, read a book. I didn't have time for that. So I had to figure that out real quick. And, you know, now we did over like 75,000 returns in the last over 3 decades because I learned to figure it out. And the funny thing is part of how I figured it out is I couldn't have any money to spend. So I figured out how to get it done without spending very little money.
Nice. And what I like what you're talking about, too, and I hope the listeners are picking up on it, is that you can do tax returns for people all across the country. So if somebody hears this and they like what they hear and they want to talk to you, they can reach out to you. And just for the listeners to know, whether you're at work or driving, this episode, as all episodes, is archived on the radio station's website, WCAP980am.com, and my website, rcsonlinesolutions.com. And, in a couple of days now, we'll get the clip, we'll get it up there. So you'll be able to re-listen to this, because I'm sure that we're going to get some tips from Albert in a second or two. But before we go on, can you give everybody your contact information now, please?
Sure. Well, if you want to get a hold of the store directly, the office is 305-823-9228. We're at 1800 West 68th Street, Suite 118, Hialeah, Florida, 33014. Our email, rated for this, because Mr. Ron, this is how we market yourself, Albert at 1040w2.com. Now, I want to ask my listeners, what do you think I do for a living? Cha-ching. Got it? And our website, if you also want to learn about our website is 1040w2.com. So
1040W2, nice, I like it.
All along, Mr. Ron, I learned how to brand myself, and that doesn't cost anything. Free, FREE. Once you buy the domain name, doesn't cost anything.
Yep. And the domain names are only like $12 or $14 a year, so that's
right.
A couple of cups of coffee, so that's nothing either.
Right.
So excellent. So now they got your contact info, and it's like they know it's archived. But we got like 15, maybe 17 minutes to go. So what I'd like to do is kind of like, turn it over to you for a little bit. And I'd like you to just talk to people and let them know different things that they could do to maybe reduce their taxes or, reduce their chances of being an audit. What are the red flags? If they're a business owner, what's the, the home write-off now, and just anything like that. And then maybe 3 or 4 tips.
Okay, the first thing is, and I saw a lot of people who got whacked this year. But the first thing is, Mr. Ryan, is, nowadays with the new tax laws, everybody needs to open up a corporation, okay, an LLC. Because under the new tax laws, if you start going to events and you're an employee, they took off under the new, the Trump laws, that you can't write off going to events. You can't write off your car. You can't write off taking people to, to dinners and stuff. So one of the first things I would tell you to do is open up a corporation. Actually, to be exact, I would tell you need to open up a sub-S company. I hear this all the time. People in the office, they come in. Oh, I don't need you. Well, I can do it myself. Well, I can open up an LLC. For why do I need to pay you? I said, okay. They then come to the office, Mr. Ron, and I go do their tax return. And guess what? Single member LLCs don't do you any good. So you still end up paying me money to make you a sub-S company by filling out the one form. Because when you do a single member LLC, one of the things people don't understand is it goes on to a Schedule C. And on Schedule C is your regular 1040s. And if you've been doing this as long as I have, the IRS can just push a button, Mr. Ron, and like on Schedule C, line 7 is your auto expenses. Well, they can start checking everybody by the computer. Let's check everybody who put over 4,000 miles or 5,000, 10,000. Take a number, they can push a button, they can audit you, computer audit. Because the IRS, you're never, Ron, unless you're really very, very unlucky, Ron, you're never going to get an IRS regular field audit where they're going to go down. Those days are really almost gone. What they're doing is they're going to send you out a letter saying, okay, show me your logbook of how many miles you did. Because they targeted certain lines on the tax form. So here's the solution. When you open up a corporation, statistically, they can't, especially open up a sub-S company, they can't target any line, because if you look on an 1120S or 1065, there is no really lines to target. It's almost impossible. and there's just so many corporations out there, Mr. Ron, that it's literally impossible for the IRS to target corporations at this point. That's one. The second thing I would tell people is, guys and girls, whoever's listening to this, don't do it yourself. We were just talked about this. Get somebody to do it. I hear it all the time. Well, I can do it on TurboTax. Fine. Thank you. I'm glad you did it on TurboTax, because if the IRS is holding your check or there's issues, I want TurboTax to help you. Can I make you laugh, Mr. Ron, what I heard today or a couple of days ago? One of my clients I onboarded works for Arise, a virtual company. Arise paid these guys money to go recruit people to go help people on TurboTax. You like that one? Arise, the people, TurboTax paid Arise, who paid a client of mine to go hire people to answer a TurboTax question. Go and find real people. Now, the second thing I'm going to tell you is, go and check, by the way, and I can show you that facts are true when it comes to this, is go check. When you have to go find somebody to do your tax returns or accounting, two things I will tell you is, one thing I would tell you to stay away from is, do not go to anybody who works on their desk in their house. No. That's a no-no. Because if you need copies or something, they're not going to be there. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two is always make sure you go to somebody who does the tax return that you can see their name at the bottom of the return. When you do returns with Coin Associates Accounting Services, our name is everywhere. Our name is on the folder. Our name is at the bottom of the tax return. If somebody is not going to sign your return, you run. If at the bottom of the return says self-prepared, you run, because they're not going to back you. I see that every day. Sorry, Mr. Ron. I see that every day where people come in, and they get a letter from the IRS, and they go to the person's, house, Mr. Ron, or wherever they are, and they're not there. And it says self-prepared. Now, the third thing I will tell you is, ask the people how many years they've been in business. We've been in business for over 3 decades. So, I've been doing this for a long time. But my secret sauce, guys, is on this little topic is Google Highly Accountant or Corey Tax Miami, and you're going to see I have 143 reviews on Google, which we have a 4.89 rating. So I guess that shows that I've been around and I help clients.
Nice.
That's what you got to do. That's the biggest tips I'm going to tell you about that. And once you figure that out, you're going to start saving money on your tax returns, because you're going to get a professional, somebody who does this forever and ever. I'm the first one to tell you I'm not a CPA, nor I don't want to be a CPA, because I was never became a CPA or an RA, because I want to. If you ask me a question, I'm going to tell you from my heart. I'm not going to worry about you're going to report me to a CPA board, because I'm telling you from my heart, and you don't like me. I had a couple of friends who got reported because they helped somebody and somebody didn't like what they told them, so they reported them. So I'm not no CPA, nor do I want to be one, because I can help people better. Another tip is, guys, you have to go out and work the business. This isn't really an accounting question, but, you need, obviously we talked about why you need to open up a corporation, but if everybody wants to build a business, Ron, you have to go to events. Sorry to tell you, what I always say online is success is a contact sport. Okay? Success is a contact sport, so you better start contacting people who want to take your business to the next level. Oh, and another thing I forgot to tell people, you could also get a hold of us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/TaxmanBiz, where every day we go on, and I also put some cool tips on how you can help build your business. And now, if you want, now let me go to the other part of what we're doing. See, my next goal, the mission in life, Mr. Ron, is help 1,000 people become. I'm trying to mentor 1,000 people, okay, to make over 7 figures, because now we can start to change the world. So whoever's listening to this, I want them to close their eyes, and I want you to think, you have like unlimited income and unlimited resources. What would you start to do? So now find a mentor who's going to help you get to that next level. So what we're helping our clients in our perception business, and we'll be on stages. I'll be on 7 stages this year and 8 next year. But on the TAXMAN Show Live presentation, and you see this on our Facebook business page, we're showing people how you build your business without spending a lot of money. You know, part of it is make sure you have the email. But can I tell a tip, Ron, that 98 of small businesses, the solopreneurs, home-based business, and businesses 1 to 3 employees. Can I tell you one of the big reasons why they're not hitting their business to the next level, Mr. Ron?
Absolutely.
The real reason why? Because part of it is, right, they're not showing the world. You know, and one of the simplest tips nobody does is the voicemail on your phone. If you're listening to this, okay, which is good, but you have to start thinking. You have to start thinking and acting like you're a billionaire, that you are a billionaire of a brand. You know, your brand is a $1 billion brand. I learned this a long time ago. And there's a bunch of little ninja tricks that people don't do. It's like one of the ninja tricks people don't do is voicemail on their phone. You know, if you're a Fortune 5,000 a Fortune 50,000 company, you know, when the business is closed, Mr. Ron, when the business is closed, okay, you know, the CEO's not on the phone that says, hi, you know, sorry, we're not open. No, they have a receptionist, a voicemail, a professional. So why isn't small business doing the same thing so they can stand out in the crowd? Now, the funny thing is, it only costs like $20 on the internet. You know, $20, you can get it done on Fiverr. But the trick is you got to have the right script. And that's the secret sauce. You know, let me give you an example of what mine is. You know, mine is, hi, you have reached Coin Associates Accounting and Small Business. We're not in the office right now, but please, you know, hi, we're not in the office. So please, oh my God, sorry, I'm having a brain fart here. Sorry. Mine goes, this is Coin Associates. We're not in the office, but we're helping a client achieve their biggest tax refund and get their business started correctly. So please leave your name and number so we can get your biggest refund ever. So you can get your biggest refund ever and get your business started without any hiccups. And you put that on and you're busy, say if you're a solopreneur, a home-based business, people are going to have the perception that you're bigger what you are. In today's competitive world, you got to have every single step to go forward. You know, that's kind of one of them. We talked about the email. Another cool thing that we talk about on stage is, you know, I have a marketing system, okay, that I've been using since social media started, that it only takes 9 minutes a day, Ron. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Ron? How long does it take to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks or at McDonald's?
Well, you're driving there and everything, at least 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, how about if you can do all your social media in and out in line for under 9 minutes a day? The time it takes to get a coffee in a Starbucks line, you could have already done your social media. I do it every single day while I'm walking. It's very simple to do. Part of what you do is, all it takes is, you know, to get started is you write down 7 tips, Mr. Ron. You write down 7 tips, 1 tip a day, that you can help somebody. A simple tip. And then you talk about it. All right? You know, then you talk about it every day. and you put an intro. The intro is how you have reached, or you put, talking about, hi, my name is, what you do, say your tip, and you end it with any questions or comments, please leave it below, or instant messaging. You do this on your cell phone. There's a bunch of programs you can do it for almost free, InShot and Moby Lab. Right? And another simple tip you can do is your business cards. People don't know how to business cards correctly, because when you use them correctly, it's an air. That right, Mr. Ron? That's how we met, correct? Remember,
yes.
I gave you my business card in Chicago, and we connected because on the back of my card it says 5 reasons to open up a corporation. Question: didn't that pique your interest? And that's how we got the call today, correct?
Yeah, well, it started it, but I definitely, I started my corporation many years ago, but I love these things that you're talking about, and I hope the listeners are writing them down or prepared to go back and listen to the archives, because they are gems. Going back to I like how you talk, even like before they form their corporation, an LLC, a partnership, the benefits of being a partnership opposed to a solopreneur, because you have S Corp and C Corp and all that.
Yes.
But having all that set up correctly before you start, because you can start this year being an S and then elect to be a C next year, but then you have to comply with like payroll stuff too. So you got to bring in which is maybe $1,000 a year, which is also a tax write-off. But there are a lot of things that if you do right in the beginning will save you some massive headaches. So I like the fact that you will help people with that from the beginning, and also on the when you talked about the line items, how people doing their mileage. And another great way is they can do actual use instead of writing down the mileage, and that might be one way of just staying off their radar. But we literally have like 3 minutes left, and I'd like you to just give out your contact info again, and maybe just in one closing thought, because you've really given people a lot of great information on how they can not only save money on their taxes, but also prevent problems by forming their corporations at the same time, but then also different ways that they can turn around and increase their client base with some of the tips you gave. So again, I think the listeners got a ton of value out of this interview. So thank you for that.
Okay, so you can get a hold of me. There's a bunch of ways. A couple of easy ways to get a hold of me is you go to find us on Facebook and Instagram at 1040w2.com. You can always email us at albert@1040w2.com. We have a real office in Hialeah, Florida, and you can always call us. And we have clients in 47 states. We didn't do any in Alaska or Hawaii this year, and I think South Dakota, but we did pretty much in all the other states. In one office through email. People can email and call us, and we treat it as if you're right next door to us, so we call you back, and it's done as if you're sitting next to us while it's calling you back and forth. And obviously, you don't pay us until we get it right for you. You can also call our office in Hialeah, 305-823-9228. Ain't bragging when it's true when you can Google us at Corey Tax Miami or Corey Tax Hialeah, and you can see our Google reviews, dude. And you're right, Mr. Ron, when you got 143 Google reviews at 4.85 rating, it says that I help our clients all over the country and all over the world.
Absolutely. And again, I think that the listeners got tremendous value today. I'd like to remind everybody once again that this episode, as all episodes, is archived on the radio station here, WCAP 980 AM's website, and also my personal website, RCS Online Solutions. Well, that's my company website, but also my website, which is just my name, ronaldcouming.com. And also it will be up on YouTube also under ronaldcouming.com. So plenty of ways to go back and listen to these gems, and also to contact Albert directly. I'd like to remind everybody that we're going to be talking about in the second episode about retargeting ads. And just so you know, 96 out of every 100 people who land on your website never actually buy anything. That's only 4%. So how about we get you some information on how you can increase those conversions? And that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment. You've been listening to Albert Corey, known as the TAXMAN, on the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ronald Couming of RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by using various internet marketing techniques and methods.